Thanks for coming and hanging out with me in the basement tonight. What I've got is a tale of two Missouri Pacific Alco FAs made by Lionel. One of these, I believe the 206, this is probably the chassis for it. I think it said it had a three-position reverse unit. Yeah, three-position reverse unit. So I think this is probably the chassis for it. But the other one, the 219, is I've got a much newer chassis for it. This is an MPC era chassis. So I bought this stuff in an auction lot. So I had an extra shell laying around. I figured, why not? Might as well have a couple of Missouri Pacifics running around. Let me spin the camera around, and we're going to take a quick look at them, and then I'll start working on them. Alright, so here we are. This is the 205 shell, and you look how it's much darker on here. So this is a painted shell, which is kind of interesting. They don't always do that, but they did it for this one. And then, well, it's interesting here. This is the type of year where they didn't have the support. They used this kind of deal. Well, it might have had the support. I can't really tell. You know, it might have very well had the support, but this is a repair piece, possibly a piece that was installed originally. I'm not sure. Somebody might have painted it to match, but it sits right in there to provide some reinforcement for this piece right here, which gets damaged. But if we look at the chassis, we'll see that we got a broken wire. I believe it goes on one of these two. Don't know if it really matters, but looks pretty straightforward. Now, this is the older style of motor, which means that the motor armature is supported only at the top and only at the very bottom, which is not a good thing to do, because this piece can move around, and this aluminum frame, as you see here, is way bent, so that's going to require some straightening. We'll see if I can get it to work better, but basically the motor has to be perfectly centered, otherwise it won't run very good or at all. So maybe I'll grab a test lead and we'll try just setting this on one of these and see if we can get this thing to fire up a little bit before we tear into it. Looking at the other chassis, I had this in an earlier video where I put it on the track and it actually started running. I haven't done really anything to this guy, but you can see where we got a different style armature plate here, or brush plate holder on it. And this motor will not be supported on the bottom. Well, actually, you know what it is? I've never really taken one of these apart, but it's probably got a more solid support system than this other one does, because we got a steel side frames and it's all riveted together, so that'd be kind of interesting to take apart and clean up. But we just have a two-position reverse unit on this, which is no problem. Those work good. But the shell for this one, even though on Tandem Associates it says it's painted shell, I believe this is not painted. This is the same kind of blue as what we got out here, so I don't believe this is painted, but that's okay. Let's move them to the track and see if we can get some life out of it. I'm going to try this one first. See if it still runs. Like I said, I haven't done anything with it. Let's fire up the transformer. Grab my handy dandy remote here. I believe this is track 2. Okay, we got to get the remote synced up with the transformer here. Alright, there we go. Just got to activate it at the right time, I guess. Now let's see what she does. Yeah, like getting nothing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the other one would be running if that was the case. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright. Doesn't want to go forward, might be a broken wire or something. Hey, it goes reverse though. Can't beat that. Alright, let's try the other one. Okay, let's grab a test lead and see if we can get something to work here. When doing repair work, test leads, which is just a couple alligator clips on a wire, you can either build them or you can buy them in packs. They are pretty cheap. Granted, you get what you pay for, but it's nice to have around. So I believe this guy goes here, and I believe it goes to one of these. We'll see if we smoke something. Whoop. Make sure it's on the track here. Alright, let's see what we got. Well, could go to the side too. I should look at my wiring diagram before just messing around with stuff, but hey, oh well. That's how you learn, right? Okay, let's try the other one. Nada. Well, this guy should automatically have the other side through the wheels. We're just not getting anything. I don't think this is going to work, but we'll try it. Yeah, we're just not getting anything out of this guy. Well, let's try... Alright. So, the headlight base goes to this guy, so we need a center roller pickup. Okay, there we go. There's my answer. See, I just gotta think about things, and then obviously it becomes obvious. It goes to these center rollers. You guys are probably yelling at your screen going, "Oh, it goes there, dumbass!" Alright, so we're gonna put this to the third rail, or the center rail, I should say. Center rail, here we go. There we go, got some life. Alright, we're getting life, but we're not getting any movement here. The motor's not trying to move at all. Yeah, the E-unit is moving, it's rotating. Alright. Oh, got a little bit of movement here. Let's turn up the power. Motor's trying to move. Oh, there she goes! Alright, yeah. The motor's definitely not centered. It's trying. She's not happy. Happier going in one direction. Alright, excellent. It works! Just gotta straighten it out, and hopefully we can get it to work better. Alright, I'm gonna start tearing into these, and I will show you guys if something interesting comes up. Well, I'm back right away, because it's like, well, tear down is pretty quick, and it can be kind of interesting, so we'll just tear this pup down just super easy. Pull out the motor, pull out the brush plate here. Now this is a part of maintenance, pulling the brush plate off and cleaning the commutator, because just with normal use, it will the top of the commutator will get dirty, and it needs to be cleaned. So we'll just rock it back and forth. There we go. Brushes are good length. And the commutator does not look terrible. It's full of grease, look at that. Look at how much grease is on there, or oil. So it's been over-oiled, but that's alright. No big deal. And we look inside here. Hopefully you guys can see that. But we got a good gear. It's not stripped out. So good. This one may not have had a whole lot of use. Like I said, if this thing goes moving, can strip out the gear. We have dual magnet traction, which it does work. So it's actually a magnet inside the axles here. And we just got to straighten this out, and hopefully we can get the motor to run a little better. That shouldn't be too difficult. It's not all coated with grease and everything, so... Alright, that one should be good. Let's tear into the other one here. As long as I got you along. Of course, we got Phillips screws. We'll see if this flathead will fit. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Perfect. Like I said, I have not had one of these apart. Now, if you notice, This has the 2-position reverse unit. We have 2 different colors of wire on the electromagnetic coil here on the motor. And the reason for that is one set, when you do the 2-position reverse unit, one set of wires is for forward, and the other set of, or the other wire I should say, it's 2 single wires. The other wire is for going the opposite direction. So this guy with 3-position unit only has 1 wire wrapped around there. And they say it's like not as much power, but I haven't really noticed that with a 2-position unit. If you guys have, let me know. It would make sense it would be less power, but well, they seem to run fine by me. Alright, let's take this guy out. I have not had this off. We got one brush that went flying. That was kind of interesting. Here's our other brush. Looks just fine. Let's see how this guy is in here. Okay. So what they did is they did kind of go back to the... it's got the same style armature. Look at that. Different wires even. But got to be real careful cleaning these, because these can break if you put too much tension on them. This one looks acceptable. It's not full of grease. The gear looks good quality. And even though it doesn't have the support here like I said, this piece is much more secure. It's not going to slide around, so not really an issue on this one. And yeah, she runs pretty good, so we just got to work on cleaning it up. So this should hopefully be a pretty easy repair. Alright, so in taking a look at this one, I saw that the bottom bearing plate here had a chip out of it, so it was basically missing the very important piece to hold it in place. Well, lo and behold, I just happen to have a stash of parts here from some parts chassis that I bought. And look at here, I don't have to buy one. This one is good, unless it cracks when I put it in. But this is one of the reasons why you kind of tend to hold some of this stuff. So, yeah, just kind of a little reason why it might be good to keep on some of these parts. I even got a, you know, this one, I got a broken one here, but I'm keeping it just in case. But that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys, and that back end straightened out. I think the back end was just cracked. I think everything else looks okay here. It doesn't seem warped like some of my other ones. But let's pull this screw off, and I'll show you where that wire attaches to. So this is the roller assembly. Hopefully we'll just be able to pull off this tubing here. There we go. So that wire is just soldered right on here, so that'll be super easy to repair. Oh, we're just humming along here. Things are going pretty good. I've got all the gears cleaned up. I just used my favorite solvent here with a toothbrush, and the center gear cleaned up really good. I've got it lubricated right now. Got a little bit of medium duty grease on there. Got all the shafts oiled up, and took a screwdriver and also cleaned out in the gear there. Just got all the muck. This one wasn't too bad, but it's really important to get all the dirt and everything out of the gears, so I was able to do that. And the wire soldered up perfectly, nothing wrong there. Got that all back together. And I wanted to mention something about this plate. On the older armatures that don't have a bearing on this flat surface here, this is how the motor sits in here. And if you think about it, you got that pressure there. It's like, boy, you just can't have plastic there. What did they do? Here, I don't know if you can see it, but they've got a real tiny BB right in the bottom of that, and that can get lost. So it's good to have some spares, but luckily this one has it. And the original one that was in here had it as well. Otherwise the motor doesn't sit in the right position. So it's very important to have that small BB right in the bottom. Acts as the bearing surface there. Alright, let's see if I can get this in here without breaking it. It's definitely a bit of a hit or miss kind of thing, and I'm not the greatest at it. But sometimes you just gotta work it, and hopefully it doesn't get damaged. Let's try to pry things up and get the plastic to kind of move down a little bit. It's pretty stiff plastic. Let's see if we can do it. Alright, sometimes it's a little tricky. Okay, come on, you can do it. Don't want to... There we go. Alright, so that end is in. Well, let's see if we can get the other end in here. It's definitely a little scary doing this. Alright, the bottom's in. It's got to take your time. I've done it only a couple times. There we go. Alright, we're in. So now we just gotta carefully push it up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. There we go. And... excellent. It is in. Alright. We are looking good. And this commutator cleaned up real good. It wasn't bad before, but just a little bit of Scotch-Brite is what I use. But there's many ways to clean it. Alright, I'm going to get this back together and see if we can get her running. Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to keep going as long as I got you with me. Alright, I wiped down the brushes, so we're good there. And let's see, where's the other brush? Either brush style will fit in this. I could use the old style. It's no big deal. Alright, now what I like to do is I'll kind of tip things around here and see if we can sneak this guy in. Maybe hold the armature so it doesn't go sliding out. A little tricky here. Brush is about to leave. Okay. It does not want to cooperate with me. Definitely... Alright, there we go. Just slipped in. Just gotta get the armature to go where it needs to go. Alright, we're in. Okay, what's next? We got a regular screw that goes here. And let's see, what do we got here? Okay. And we have... Whoop! I forgot a washer on here. So the washer on top of the motor limits the amount of travel that the motor has. So, alright. Well, I'm going to get this button back up, and I'll turn the camera on when I got it ready to go. I have not test run this yet, but I got everything hooked back up. It should run, but we'll see if it'll go backwards. And if it won't, well, we're going to dig into the reverse unit here, or the E unit. Let's see if we get lucky. Alright, it's not running at all. Let's get a little more voltage. Yeah, that's right. Whoa! Hey, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Be great if I didn't. Should have my hand on the button. I think this thing is going to work good. Let's turn it down to, like, 13. Oh, that is so nice. Let's try 11. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay. This guy, I'm going to call it done for now. And we'll get started on this one. On this second chassis, because we have metal side frames here, it won't electrically affect the operation of the engine that they touch the wheels, but it will slow it down. See, these things need to be restaked, and they're just really all floppy. So in order to do that, I'm going to pull out the motorized portion here. In order to do that, these clips have to come off, and we got to disconnect. Well, I want to disconnect some wires so I can have more area to move this around and not be hindered by the wires. So what I'm going to do is I'm using this video to kind of see where these wires go. We got our one connection, which the headlight goes to here, which goes to the top portion here on the brush plate. The bottom portion on the brush plate, the wires broke off, goes to the motor, the coil here, so that's fine. And we got another wire that goes on the side here, that goes to one end. This must be forward, let's say, and the other wire goes to center. We'll say that's reverse. Alright, so let's unsolder some wires and take this out. Ready to reassemble. Spent some time cleaning up that gear, got it all cleaned up and put some fresh lube on it, and got some nice lubrication on the axles. But the main thing I did was I got these more secure, the side frames. What I did is I took my toy hammer, my toy anvil, and various assortment of punches, and I restaked these 4 pieces. And just the way I was supporting it when I got done, this guy was like way out, so I kind of had to tap him back down. And while not perfect, it's better than what it was. So let me put her back together and rewire it up by watching that video and test her out. Everything is hooked back up, and I'll let you see everything here. I did chop off the end of most of these wires and redid them because they were in poor condition. I could probably have this wire be a little longer, but for now it's good. So I had a little question when I was over here doing these 2 wires, the 2 fine wires that are coming off the coil here. And it's like, boy, which one goes to where? I'm going to move this one up just a little bit so it's not rubbing. Alright. So what I did was I grabbed this book, and you're going, yeah, Jeremy, this thing's newer than 69. This isn't going to be the same. It's the exact same. And I just picked one that had a 2-position reverse unit, and it's pretty obvious, or pretty clear to me to see, because we got 2 sets of coils showing here on the diagram. And I was able to determine that, where the 2 wires come together, they go to the brush holder, and the single one ends up going to the lug, and the other single one goes to the reverse unit there. So pretty straightforward. Handy to have a good point of reference here. But we are now ready to test things out. Alrighty, well, let's see. Fingers crossed if it works. Should. Looks like it's hooked up correctly. Find out. Okay, so it's in neutral. Excellent. Neutral. That, because it's the rollers are a little cruddy on the bottom here. Let's go a little more higher voltage here. Well, it goes reverse. Okay, so we got to work on that a little bit. Maybe it's possible we have a broken winding in there or something. Alright, so my next check is going to be to see what direction this is going when it won't go forward. Because we just got 2 contacts that are up in here. And it looks like they're making contact pretty good there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's just a little sliding arm that goes back and forth. Pretty straightforward. But, yeah, let's check that out. Alright, we got 0 voltage on the track. I'm looking at the transformer 2 to verify. Alright. Alright, so It's this contact, the black one. Interesting. Well, that doesn't... Well, yeah, that does make some sense. Let's take a look at that. Kill power to the track. So the only... Oh. I see it. I see it. We've got a... These wires are twisted together and it looks like they're broken right here. Let's see if I'm right about it. So why we're not getting any forward here. Yep. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, these are, this is a coated wire. I forget what the coating is. But you need to scrape it off with a knife. And then these can be soldered together. So let me make that repair, and we'll give it another shot. Alright, the repair was really quick. Like I said, I just took my knife and scraped each end. I did an inline connection, just to make it a little easier. And hopefully, that'll work. Now let's see if we have forward direction. Okay. This might be an engine that needs the insulating washer here, because this was a bigger eyelet. It's acting like it's... Yeah. So I'm going to try an experiment. I kind of forget which ones require it, and this one didn't have it. But what clued me in was the fact that this eyelet was so large. Let's try that. Yep, it needs the insulating washer right here. We got a dirty section track too. I'm gonna say that that is a win. I should probably clean those rollers. It's being crazy over here. Let's see if we can... Yeah, those rollers need some work. Alright. So what we're dealing with is these cruddy rollers, and this is just really sad. It's a piece of brass or copper just resting against the roller. So it's just a really not a very good design, but I'll take the Dremel and see if I can clean that up a little bit. But I'm going to call this a win. I'm going to clean this up, put some shells on it, and well, we'll just verify the second one's still working here, which it should be. This thing was running great. Let's see how this one works. Beautiful. Alrighty. I gotta figure out a way to insulate this. I don't think I have a spare special washer that goes in here. So I might just put a little heat shrink on this. I'm not sure. Tape it to one of the wires maybe. But yeah, things are looking good. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. This has been operated without a washer for a while because this piece got really hot at one point. It actually left an imprint in the plastic here. I'm not sure if... Yeah, you can... Hopefully you guys can see that right there. So, this has been a problem for a little while on this engine. So, I was running this guy around. This is the older one. And it's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot to lubricate the top of the motor. So I should probably look at that and look at the bottom. So the bottom's lubricated good. But when it came time to adding oil on the wick, I kind of gave it a little poke with my screwdriver to kind of drag it out. It should be... The wick should just be lightly touching the armature. You know, when this brush holder's all the way down, the little... It's not a sponge, but it's a little felt piece that goes in there. Should just be lightly touching it so it keeps it lubricated. Well, when I went to move it, this thing is hard as a rock. Let me see if we can hear that. Probably not. But basically, it is just like a rock. So it's had some paraffin oil over time put into it, and I don't know if you can see that reflection there, but it's hard as a rock. Who knows? Possibly cooked. I don't know. So I grabbed one out of my stash here because I had a couple brush holders. I could change a whole brush holder, of course, but look at this one. Look at how that bends. That's how it should be to hold the oil, because this one doesn't do it at all. It'll probably break if I try to do it. That's just crazy. But I just kind of want to let you guys see this. How I took it off was this piece is just riveted in here. Of course, I didn't pull the rivet, but I lifted it up slightly and just kind of drug it out. That's why I had this loose, so I could get enough room in here to slide it out. But the new one just goes in like this. Pizza's done. And let's see here, we'll pop it open a little more here. There we go. So, yeah, so that is adjustable in and out. You can take a knife or whatever and just kind of poke it in there and just get that thing to come out just a little bit and rub against the motor shaft. And the thing is, just a little bit of lubricant on here will be good. Get too much and you're not going to ruin the motor, but you'll have to clean it off more frequently. Well, there you have it. Repair work is done, and they are both running awesome. I am very happy with how the repair work turned out on the older chassis. That is probably the best running one of those generation diesels that I have. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. I hope you like this video. Please, again, let me know. My name's Jeremy with Too Many Hobbies, and let's get some more footage of these trains in action.